all the people are like, start with that. I'm like, no.
And we're live.
What's up, MPX addicts, and welcome to MPX Rehab. I'm your host, the hashtag certified Mark J. Williams, here with my co-host, as always.
Tell him I'm not late.
Me.
Tell him I'm not late.
I didn't say you were late. I said I was waiting for you. That's all.
And how many times do I wait for y'all?
You wait for us a lot. I'm not saying you don't. I'm just,
Hi, I'm the voice of the MPX as Kyle Smith. Just a little ticked off today, so you might bear with me a little bit. We'll find out. Who knows? I might shoot on people.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. We're not allowed to use those terms. See, we've already started.
Yeah.
Isn't it fun?
Yeah. Depending upon the people you shoot on, we're okay.
There's a couple I actually want to shoot. Anyways.
We were told to drop that.
Oh, I wasn't even talking about that jack off.
But last week was MPX's Wrestle Rage. Next week is a Hard Day's Night, and it is an emotional couple of weeks for us.
I feel like these are all names for a specific new living legend.
Yeah.
They're all rocker type albums, aren't they?
Well, Hard Day's
Night is Beatles. I know that.
Well, not just
and I don't like the Beatles,
but
I know that's a Beatles album.
But I'm also thinking it's the movie as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But I was also thinking, it's like a Hard Day, Hard Away.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
But okay.
Maybe
I was gonna say
Hard
Times retired, but then I was like, oh yeah, Hard Way. Okay.
Yeah. But no. Wrestle Rage last week was that was a pretty intense, emotional show, and I gotta admit, the addicts kind of surprised me.
How so?
Well, after the two matches in the middle of the show,
good or bad?
Good surprise.
Okay.
Good surprise. After the matches in the middle of the show, I was expecting no other match that night was going to get any heat from the crowd whatsoever. They were going to be dead the rest of the night.
Yeah,
but they showed otherwise.
They did, and in typical, not even MPX, in general wrestling form, there is that one match that unfortunately there's that lull, so everyone kind of got their energy back.
Yeah. Which unfortunately did happen to the match after the more intense parts.
And like I said, it's every wrestling show. You could look at even the best ones. Like look at WrestleMania 25.
Yeah,
there's a lull. It's wrestling.
The restroom break match.
It's up and down.
Yeah,
just like my emotions.
That's where you got the whole booking of making sure you start out the night big, let people come down so you can get them on that roller coaster and not wear them out.
Exactly.
But let's go ahead and start talking about, speaking of starting out strong, we got Aaron Mercer back taking on Michael Schaefer.
Which I love how Aaron Mercer, okay, we have two surprises. We had Aaron Mercer and T-Ray.
Yeah.
And those are two of the biggest names in Texas that more times than not, I'd be upset that aren't advertised. But with MPX, it's one of those where it just proves you always got to come every Saturday. You never know who's going to be there.
Yeah, we knew that Aaron Mercer was coming. We just didn't know that he was going to start the show or who he was going against.
And we knew because we follow his posts and stuff like that. MPX didn't announce it.
Yeah, true.
And like I said, it's one of those, I think it goes back to MPX has proven a point that, look, we run every Saturday. You never know who's going to show up. You got to be there.
Yeah, definitely.
Because more times than not, when I first saw Mercer and T-Ray, I was both like, and you don't advertise these two? What is wrong with you? I was like, oh, wait, it's actually kind of genius on the other side because it's a surprise. You always got to be there to find out.
Yeah, and if nothing else, it'll get the people who didn't show up to go and watch the network later when it comes
watch
out
the network or even show up live every time.
Yeah, definitely.
But no, having Mercer come in, and man, you got first Mercer's debut is against Angel. Big guy. Big boy.
Oh, yeah.
And now you've got Schaefer. Another big boy.
Yeah.
And it's so great. And it's one of those where you look at Mercer, and he's not a small guy. I don't know if anyone ever has actually stood next to Mercer. He's kind of like Jack Swagger a little bit.
Yeah.
It's that deceiving size. And so it kind of shocked me at first when I was like, oh, it's Schaefer. And I was like, man, I had a bad feeling just because, look, Schaefer, for all intents and purposes, I always say he's the weirdest booked, yet he's always been booked very strong.
Yeah.
He just never gets that crowning achievement moment.
Yeah.
So it's one of those where I'm like, man, we're really going to have Mercer lose in his second match. We can't build him a little bit, but
they used something that was a mistake last time to kind of further a idea this time.
Yeah.
In which, Mercer goes for that big move where he's got to lift him and everything like that.
Right.
Didn't quite work out for him, though he kind of sort of faked it, with please don't get my dog drunk. but kind of sort of faked it with Angel. But this time, he tried multiple times to get Schaefer off his feet. And like you have said many times, Schaefer doesn't come off his feet often.
No, he doesn't. And that's, again, he's one of the more protected, if not the only protected big man we have, next to, I would say, probably Hardakis. Schaefer doesn't come off his feet a lot. Yeah. And Mercer also did what we talked about last time with Camacho. He started doing more submissions.
Yeah.
Which I thought was great. The match itself was a great way to start MPX. Because, again, Mercer is one of the best in Texas right now. And you've got Schaefer, who is obviously one of the best MPX has to offer and an MPX legend.
Yeah.
So it was a great match. And it really isn't next to, obviously, Exodus, who I think – if we dubbed Tatum Mr. Main Event for a while. Exodus is probably Mr. Opening Match because it always gets the crowd going. His matches are always on fire. So if you can't have Exodus, which, I mean, you could, but they didn't have Exodus open the card, this is the perfect match to open it with.
Oh, yeah. Honestly, I think considering he did follow up that match, I think it was a matter of, they didn't want Aaron Mercer to suffer having to follow up that twofer.
True.
Because after that, we got Exodus Prime defending the MPX Addicts Championship against Marce Lewis.
Which, real quick, going back to Schaefer and Mercer, Brian Pulver's pitcher again knocked out of the park.
Yes.
Schaefer throwing up Mercer. Just beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm fascinated with his pictures because I've always enjoyed sports photography and stuff like that. And just how you can catch moments like that is amazing.
Yeah, that is really cool. But yeah, Mercer losing that one, bringing his record to a 1-1 and everything like that. I guess he'd have to come back to,
Well, are you counting him stabbing the dinosaur? That's a win.
True.
He killed the dinosaur at Perch. Come on.
He did kill the dinosaur, yeah. But after that, like I said, we had the MPX Addicts Championship match. Exodus Prime defending against Marce Lewis. And I got to say, I was actually really happy with the fact that we got a little more of character from Marce.
We got a little more character, and it was built up for the small amount of time they had on Facebook.
Yeah.
They built it up really good. And, it wasn't just an Addicts title match.
Yeah.
They made it personal, which against Exodus, it's always personal.
Yeah.
Exodus is going to make it personal regardless.
Definitely.
So I thought that was really good. And the promo beforehand, like you said, we got a little more character. I think Marce, and again, who am I to say anything, but Marce needs to work a little bit more on promo and character-wise and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But again, it wasn't bad.
No.
It was just one of those where it's like you can tell again, that's why I say use the Addicts page, put promos on there, put videos, use us if you want, but get that comfortability with being in front of the camera and talking and shooting a promo.
Yeah.
But again, him and Exodus, again, great. Marce as fast as usual, and Exodus kept up.
Yeah, and the amount of times that they came close to showing, Marce was going to win it, especially when, he put him in that crossface. And,
and that's one of the things is...
Rocky, seriously, buddy.
We know MPX management. We've seen what they do. They really enjoy I don't want to say swerve, but the surprise title win.
Yeah.
The surprise title change. So every time you have someone who, for the most part, the majority of the Addicts write off as, X is going to win easily.
Yeah.
It's always that hair moment that we all think, oh, wait, Marce might actually do it.
Yeah.
And they did. They teased that so well. And that, I think, also goes to how good Exodus is. Exodus, every time he's in the title match, makes you believe he's barely hanging on. And there's been several times in his Addicts title run, which I dare say is one of the better Addicts title runs we've had in a long time.
He said that he made it more relevant than a lot of wrestlers who actually cared about the belt. And I won't lie.
He really has. It's one of those, I think the hiding it helps, but also the obviously attitude and swagger Exodus has, and then just the matches he puts on. Exodus has become, at least in my eyes, one of the best MPX has to offer.
Oh yeah.
And I understand where he came beforehand, but let's be honest, he is MPX. MPX is where he truly made his mark and his start as Exodus Prime.
Yeah, he really exploded with it with MPX, and I think it's because MPX being weekly allows him to expand on himself a lot more.
And I think that's why MPX is one of the better ones in the area. And of course, we get called shills or whatever. But when you do run weekly, you get this character development, you get these great matches, you get these matchups, you get wrestlers proving that, hey, look, I can do this weekly and I can be one of the top in Texas or the world. Yeah. And Exodus has proved that time and time again. Case in point, him and Kari both have big debuts coming up at Heavy Metal. And those are going to be great, and I can't wait to watch them on IWTV. Oh, yeah. But Exodus and Mars was one of those where on paper we knew it'd be good. I think it exceeded my expectations a little bit just because of the back and forth with Mars. Because again, Mars matches, they're not necessarily one-sided, but they're never this close.
Yeah. And it's like with the fact that he, I was a little off-put at first about the fact that he very clearly puts his hands on the ref and, like throws the ref around and everything like that. And the ref just sits there and goes, you can't touch me.
But again, that's the ref's discretion in a title match. Now, if it wasn't a title match, he probably would call DQ. But in title matches, they always let things go a little bit more. Yeah. And don't you dare question Bambi. Bambi has become my favorite ref, all right?
It's a continuity thing for me.
Right, but
I've talked about.
But in wrestling, that is continuity. In title matches, refs let things go a lot more.
But it really wouldn't hurt him for him to be DQ'd.
Yeah, it would.
It's like that would have actually let him, it's like, Mars would have had the and this is, of course, it's like how I would book it, armchair booker kind of bullshit. So go ahead and feel free not to listen to me, guys. But it's like, Mars having that incredulous, are you kidding me? And then Exodus gets one over on him, beats the shit out of him. And then what happened next happens next.
Yeah.
In which, we had a, Wild Kirby appear. In which he's basically tired.
Trying to make his own matches. Who does that?
I know. I was like, who would let Kirby book his own matches at MPX? Oh, wait.
But, Mr. MPX himself.
Yeah.
There's a lot of those people.
Yeah. Yes. But, Kirby comes out, basically throws down the gauntlet.
Deathmatch wrestler now. Seeing as apparently you want that using. What is wrong with you? Deathmatch wrestler, no, don't even get me started. Really? You're fine.
But it's like Kirby comes out, throws down the gauntlet, basically telling Exodus he's tired of him, continuously doing this and disrespecting the belt and everything like that. And then out comes Dexter saying,
"One shoot."
Huh?
One shoe.
Yeah, it's like throwing out like a shoe, putting on the boot. Like wait.
That was awesome. Again, there's not many more entertaining than Dexter. Ever since he's come to MPX, he's been one of the most entertaining and good wrestlers we've had.
Yeah. And it's like he comes out and he confronts Kirby, saying, it's like he kind of almost ignores Exodus, like he's not the important one there,
which he is and isn't, because in all of Dexter's MPX run, Kirby and him are linked.
Yeah,
and beautifully, like their rivalry. I think you've even said it before. Next to, I think it was Baby D and Sagan. That's your next favorite rivalry.
Yeah, is
Dexter and Kirby.
And honestly, it's like the fact that this was the last time the two of them will meet in the ring like that. I mean, you can easily, obviously say no one truly retires from wrestling, so you never know. Never say never.
Right, which I kind of hope is true, but we never say never. I mean, case in point, Baby D has stayed away longer than I thought she would.
Yeah, although if you read her Facebook, she talks about how much
she wants to come back all the time.
It's like this match was a hell of a match to go out on, because this match was incredible. And I can't remember. I don't think Dexter's ever beaten Kirby.
I'm sure he has, just because I feel like the rivalry was back and forth. And I felt like there was a time when after he destroyed the Exile, that he did win. And of course, I may be wrong on that. But I felt like he did have at least one win over him.
I was like, I know he got one over on him, not an official win maybe, but it's like there were time and again Dexter showed I don't have to have the W.
Is this where you don't count the official wins like you did with Chandler and Hardakis? Chandler beat Hardaka, sir. It's in the record book. You got to get over that.
I was the one who was constantly saying that for a while, and then
for a while, and then you turn back and you're like, oh wait, no, that doesn't count.
It's like it's an asterisk. You always got asterisks on these things.
Careful.
These things. Oh yeah, no.
Living Legend's probably watching.
Oh, I know he's watching because he was commenting on the Facebook thing. But yeah, it's like he's always had been able to. The wins and losses didn't matter because that wasn't necessarily the story. The story was him just harassing and haranguing Kirby, and that worked out. That was what was wonderful about it. And this being a blow-off match, a final, it's like final meeting between the two, in which Dexter.
Until they're both in wheelchairs and not wrestling, it's final. You do that with every wrestler. Let's be honest.
It's a big old question mark, I know.
No disrespect, and I love Terry Funk, but I think we can officially say now Terry Funk is done.
Yeah.
Because how many times did he retire, come back, retire, come back? Now there is no coming back. And I know that sounds like I'm being harsh. I'm really not, because I love Terry Funk. He's a fucking legend.
Oh, yeah. No, I absolutely.
But that's kind of the method I have with wrestlers nowadays is
until you can't wrestle.
Until you and
even then sometimes Edge and Daniel Bryan both
that, or even look at Bret Hart. He cannot wrestle, yet he still had a match with Vince, which granted he didn't take any shots and didn't take any bumps and stuff like that. Again, still wrestled and performed in Mania.
Okay, so we know somebody who rarely ever took bumps in his matches but still made the matches look damn good.
We do?
Yeah, Richter.
Oh yeah. He still did I don't know. I feel like he still did a lot.
He did. He did do a lot. But I'm just saying, it's like you don't have to bump
to
make the match look good.
But bumps, I mean, Brett also couldn't get hit in the head.
Yeah,
so
bumps are one of those important ingredients. But it's like, having no bumps in a match is kind of like having a meatless burger.
Right. Well, my favorite story ever, listening to Colt Cabana's podcast years ago, him and Truth Martini. First time he ever met Truth, they were working a match, and he goes, Truth's like, hey, cool, we're working a match, 12 minutes, I'm not taking a bump. Colt's like, cool, I'm not taking a bump either. They did a whole match not bumping. I thought it was great.
And it's doable.
It's very doable, especially with a wrestler like Colt Cabana.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and that's kind of where I go with Dexter. It's one of those where
you look at how wrestling works, bumps are where people tend to take the most damage.
Yeah.
So it's like if you can do an entire match with no bumps and make it look damn good, more power to you. If it preserves your body that much longer, awesome. I'm all good with it. But yeah, this match between these two, man, I've never seen a boring Dexter match. And there will never, ever be a boring Dexter Kirby match.
No, and again, I was
like, they could be those guys in the wheelchairs, and it'll still be interesting.
They could be wheeled out there and rolled in, put in the wheelchairs, and charge each other like murder ball, and people would still flip because that's how entertaining they are, and that's like you've always said. Your favorite Kirby is kind of this Kirby, this fun-loving, happy-go-lucky, drunk Kirby. And it's one of those where, he can do that forever, and it's still going to be entertaining. Same with Dexter. Dexter could roll this, I don't want to necessarily say tweener, but because I think with his retirement incoming, addicts have really kind of turned and become favorites of his, as opposed to where they used to hate him. Even with him... He didn't even really apologize for destroying the title because Kirby even brought it up and he goes, "Yeah, I did it. So what?"
Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and let you talk while I put my boot on.
Exactly. It's one of those where he was like, "Yeah, so what? That happened. I did it."
No apologies. And honestly, given how it could be worse. I mean, he destroyed the title, but at least we can still see that one.
Exactly. And I really did. When they first did that, I was like, oh, cool. It's because it's history. It is MPX history going back from the very, very first days of MPX.
It was the first MPX championship.
Yeah, and we've heard MPX management. It's the first title they ever designed. And so, it meant a lot to them. So, of course, you're going to have it. As soon as we open the doors, that's the first thing you see.
Yeah.
But yeah, Dexter and Kirby, again, like you said, never really a boring match, never not entertaining. And how fitting is it that Dexter's career ends in MPX with him fighting and beating his greatest rival and then going for the title that, for all intents and purposes, the reason we have it is because of him.
Yeah.
So it's great.
And honestly, it's like, I feel bad for like not just the following match after that, but all the other matches because they were doing their damnedest to try to get that brass ring of match of the night, but this one just took it.
They did, and it's one of those I love at the end the standoff with Dexter and Exodus because, like you said, he didn't really pay attention to Exodus in the title beforehand because you even saw Exodus when he came out kind of slide out. Go sit at commentary, and kind of wait until the match is over, and then slide in, appear behind Dexter. Which, okay, I've known Dexter is kind of on the short side. Yeah, I didn't really realize it until Exodus stood with him.
He stood right in front of
because
us.
Exodus is, I don't know. I never realized Exodus maybe that tall, or even I guess maybe it's compared to Dexter. But yeah, just the size there, I was like, oh, this is kind of weird. Yeah, especially coming off. Again, you look at the last 2 times we've seen Dexter here, the Purge with him and Wes, just an amazing storytelling, amazing match, just beautifully done. And then him and Kirby, again, the history tied in, everything. And now we're getting to Exodus and the Addicts title. Just Dexter's story is so great right now for everything he's doing on his way out.
You've got an entire overarching story when it comes to his career at MPX.
Yes.
There's, I think, 2, maybe 3 more people at MPX who really have that kind of, just a single flowing arc.
And one of those also that become one of the most hated men in MPX. It's now one of the most loved. And it's not even necessarily just because of the retirement. Yeah. We saw that turn slowly. It was when the announcement got announced that he finally goes, oh, okay, yeah. All the addicts were like, oh, yeah, we love him. As opposed to, it was a slow turn.
When he got that first big win at Destiny.
I was going to say, it was the 4-way, wasn't it?
I was that fatal
because
4-way.
He was like, I finally won. And yeah, so.
And then the favor started to turn in his direction. And it's like when you've got a legend like Tim Storm coming in and they're booing him and cheering for Dexter.
Yeah.
It's like, that, he is so very over it.
Well, and part of that, let's be honest, also is the Addicts, and we've seen it before. While, yes, Tim Storm is a legend and people know who he is, we love our own.
Yeah.
And Dexter has become our own. Yeah. Dexter has become MPX. And so no matter, they could bring in John Cena, and I think people would cheer Dexter more just because it's their own. Well, okay, bad example because people boo him anyway.
This is an indie crowd. Okay. John Cena's going to get booed anyway.
You know what I mean,
Daniel
though.
Bryan.
There we go. Which he's free, I think. Yeah. But yeah, you could bring in a big name who, like Tim Storm, but because Dexter's our own, we're going to cheer him.
Yeah.
The only exception to that, I think, is Exodus has become one of the most hated men.
He has taken over Dexter's.
He really has, and I think that's why I love this matchup too of Dexter and Exodus, and of course we'll break it down later. But yeah, you have this similarities are just so good right there with Dexter and Exodus.
But so let's go ahead and talk about the follow-up match of Gideon Vane taking on Jermaine Johnson, who think from Kansas or
Oklahoma, because I know he's working Oklahoma.
He's working up north.
We get that confused with Luke too. Apparently Luke's Kansas, but we always say he's Oklahoma. So
I don't know. That's where he comes down from. Is there anything north of Texas's attic? I don't know.
Well, yeah, there's a lot, but I don't really know many promotions from Kansas. So
yeah. That's okay.
If anyone is listening from Kansas, which of course they're not, I apologize.
As far as I'm concerned, you got the Red River, you got the attic, and then you got Colorado after that. I keep forgetting that there's stuff between.
Sir, Mount Rushmore? North or South Dakota? Is it? No,
it's the Dakotas.
Yeah, it's one of the Dakotas. They really shouldn't be north of that. It should just be one Dakota. It's like Carolina. One Carolina.
Yeah, but
why is
Texas
there north and south? Yes, we would.
Yeah, we would. No,
it's like Alaska does not count. We are the biggest.
I keep saying you thaw Alaska out and it'll be smaller than Rhode Island.
They do have a lot of oil, though. I still think we're better, but
this match. I feel bad for Jermaine Johnson in the fact that he was kind of kneecapped in his first presentation to the.
Well, I was going to say again, it's someone new. The Addicts aren't really going to gravitate towards Gideon. Second time coming to MPX. So again, Addicts don't really know who he is, and he's supposed to be the heel. Yeah. So of course they're not going to cheer for him,
especially since last time he was kind of the face because he was taking on Ryan.
Right, and again coming off Dexter and Kirby.
Yeah.
This is the one that kind of failed as the
bad for it's like, but I'm talking Jermaine Johnson just specifically because he comes out kneecapped with the fact that the mic would not turn on for him.
Right, which that kind of it would have been entertaining maybe to see what that might have helped a little bit.
Yeah, because I think he's got an R-Truth kind of thing where he comes out singing his own.
It seemed like it when he walked by us. That's what it kind of looked like. He had like a little thing going. So,
but the match itself was okay. It was very obvious that Gideon has some typical big man problems when it comes to wrestling.
Yeah, a little bit, which I hate saying that because there are some big man wrestlers, but there is that stereotype of big man can't move that much. They're not athletic. And it's also, I think maybe, I don't know, granted, I don't know their history or even where Gideon's from. Do they know each other? Have they worked together? Yeah. It could be that too. Who knows?
Yeah, there were a lot of issues with that, but watching Gideon, it was like, it wasn't painful. I've seen painful big man matches. I mean, we lived through the Great Khali.
Hey, that's a former world champion, sir.
Hell. I lived through Giant Gonzalez, okay?
He's not forward.
Yeah. But,
sir, you also lived through Sid Vicious. At least he just had charisma, though.
Yeah.
That's the one I always bring up. I don't understand why he was so over. Him and Lex Luger, I'll never understand why they were given so many main events and world titles and we're over.
When
they
you're
don't make sense.
6 years old and you see this giant creepy guy all but screaming into the camera, yeah, he's kind of over as a bad guy.
Okay, but there were still adults who could be like, like we do now. We're like, that sucks. Dude, I love the Ultimate Warrior kid. Now I watch Ultimate Warrior, I'm like, oh my God, why did I like you?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I don't know.
Dimitri says, thank Jermaine for building Luke Langley. They had
really?
a feud going for 3 years.
Sweet. Okay.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah. Actually, then that definitely. Luckily, MPX is a place where second impressions are allowed.
I think case in point, look at Exodus. Exodus did not have a very good first match when he came to the point where I even looked. I was like, man, I don't know if he'll be back.
Yeah.
Just because I think it was Silver and something happened, and you could tell Silver was mad, and it's one of those where we're like, Silver's one of those pillars that. Him, Kirby, and Baby D and Frankie, you kind of get thrown to them first.
Yeah.
And if you make it, cool, you'll be back. If you don't make it, you may not be back. And I was shocked that Exodus came back.
Yeah.
And look what he did.
And I'm not just talking specifically the matches. I'm also talking like the audience reactions and things like that. We've had times in which the first time, I mean, hell, look at Tommy Dean. When he first showed up, people did not know what to think of him. It was quiet through like his first 2-3 matches. But now he's hot.
Well, and one that I don't think ever really, he may have had a second chance. I don't remember fully, but Max Heights. Great talent. Just for some reason never got over with the it's crazy. But yeah, there are some that don't do that, and I think hopefully these two do get another chance. Because I do like Gideon. I like I don't know, people know my style. I like that big guy who's also kind of goth and dark and stuff.
I will say is like watching some of his affectations and some of his moves and everything like that, it's very, very Undertaker influenced, and that's very obvious, but it's not bad.
Well, let's be honest. What big guy is not influenced by Taker and Kane and Kevin Nash and stuff like that? I mean, you can look at even Schaefer and like Kirby. They have Big Boss Man and Vader vibes to them. And I think most wrestlers are going to have some type of vibe. Aaron Mercer reminds me of Daniel Bryan and Samoa Joe and ROH. You can tell
Chris Hero vibe.
Yeah, by looks maybe. And he does have a little strikes to him, so maybe. Tyler Jett's the one that screams Chris Hero to me, and that's because I obviously know and talk to Tyler Jett too.
Yeah, true.
But no, you can always tell. For the most part, watching a wrestler and be like who they kind of look up to and who they want to, who got them in the wrestling. We could look at Tatum and be like, oh, Miz, Rock, MVP. Those are all Tatum rolled into one.
Very much.
Dave screams Jericho to me. And I don't even know if that's true or not, but that's just, and I think that's that's because of character.
I don't know. Right now, he's got a lot of,
oh no, I still feel Jericho with him, especially now.
Yeah.
It's because Jericho is a rock. Jericho's a little rock star, sir.
Yeah.
Fozzy. It's one of those where it's part of it is wrestling, part of it is just the character work.
Yeah.
But Jermaine, I do want to see him back, and I want to see Gideon back. I want to see something else because I feel unlike most of the other addicts, I love giving people second chances.
Oh yeah.
Some addicts do and some don't. Again, it's
we get some good, like I said, there are times in which people come back and they just, they show up, they work hard, and they get the addicts behind them.
Or even if they don't, even the reverse of that with Exodus, getting the addicts to absolutely despise him.
Yeah.
Because again, he does his job very well.
Oh yeah.
Dexter is one of those too. When he first came, I think a lot of people were kind of like, eh. And then you despised him so much that they keep bringing him back because, oh, look, he's our top heel. Let's bring him back.
Yeah.
I remember at the old billing, Sky wasn't really used, and then all of a sudden he became one of the most hated. So, of course, he gets used. And look at him now. He's there almost every Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
And that's someone who had worked in the area for years before he finally got that. And worked for MPX, too. It's just because you have a bad showing. Christian Mox, I think, is another one. His first match didn't really go over that well. Look at him now. He's
one of his first matches. Mike Fox tried to kill Bambi.
Yeah, that was a bad night.
Yeah.
But it's also one of those which I'm glad he's okay.
Yeah.
Fuck.
But yeah, hearing about what happened with Christian Mox the other day,
and I'm sure you saw the pictures of the truck. That truck was indestructible almost.
It's a
For
Chevy.
what he said, fuck, I thought there would be way more damage.
So did I. And it just made me very glad that he had the truck that he did and everything happened just the way it did, because that's...
I don't care if you believe in a higher power or not. Somebody was looking out for him.
I'd have been kind of a wreck because of how close I am to him as a friend and everything. So it's like, I do not know if I'd be doing the show today.
Right. But again, of course they're not watching, but Jermaine getting hopefully they come back and keep trying. And again, the addicts, that is one thing I think they do gravitate towards, is the hard work.
Yeah.
Because while some don't give second chances, majority of the addicts do.
Yeah.
Kyle.
And
Dimitri says, "What do I scream to you?"
You scream all Japan to me, so it's going to be Kobashi and Takata and all that stuff. I look at you and I see 80s Japan wrestling.
I can see that, but I'm sorry. The last time Warp just cemented who he just screams at is in
Brody.
my mind.
Yeah.
It's like it will never get out of my head.
That was one of my favorite not Purple Rains, Time Warps. It's him and Brody. It's just amazing.
Yes. I will always love him and Fitz as Hulk. And,
his Macho
Man.
He's a master of impressions. It's crazy.
He really is.
Him and Shaggy was great.
God.
The only thing I wish for Time Warp with the Brody is, I know he's not everyone's favorite, but Randy Wayne as Stan Hansen against Dimitri's Brody would have been amazing. Because let's be honest, Randy is Stan Hansen. He used to be Stone Cold, and then he turned into Hansen. We're like, what the fuck are you doing? Be yourself. But hey, cool, whatever.
Yeah. But then after that, we had a match that didn't so much catch the addicts' attention as they grabbed the addicts' attention and didn't let go until they were ready to be done. As the Magnificent Malico and the Monster Hunter Matthew Palmer came out in very
Well, I love how we actually heard the loud noise and bang in the back before they ever got the camera up.
It's like you had people fighting in the back, or the ref.
I forgot.
Like, guys, come back.
I was going to say, I think it was Bambi or Travis Randall's like, we need security, and
here I am thinking it was like some kind of fight between Dave and Tatum or something like that. And it was.
And I don't know why, but literally for a split second, I was like, "Oh, this is for real. What the fuck's going on?"
Yeah.
And then I hear the more noise. Yeah, I did. And then you hear the more noise. You go, "Oh, okay. Who's coming out? Who is fighting?" And I know a lot of people are going to hate how this match kind of went down and ended, but I thought it was great given what it's for Malico and Palmer, because I don't. While yes, I joke, say no, it's over. Let's be honest, they're building to something bigger.
Oh yeah, no, I can't wait for the blow off to this, because that's going to be amazing.
Insane.
Yeah, because this was already amazing. And what they did and what they've done with the videos and everything posted online. Again, I I wasn't on board with Monster Hunter when it first started. This Monster Hunter, with everything he's doing, I'm fully 100% on board on. It's so great.
It's like when he started it, it felt just kind of like him making an off the wall joke.
Well, like I said, when he started, it was
that's kind of funny, a gimmick where you go after the monsters in wrestling, and then he starts actually doing it. I'm like, oh shit, this could work.
It's like I said, when it first started, it was kind of like a Winchester Supernatural ripoff, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is kind of cool, but you can only do it for so long. And now he's gone this 180 of D&D warlock wizard type thing where he's actually hunting and using spells and books and incantations and I love it. And at first I wasn't a fan of Renfield. Renfield works.
Yeah.
On the videos. I'm not too sure I still like him in the building.
I think he worked in this last match.
He did, just for a simple fact, because obviously he needed to draft a card to throw Malico in it. But it's one of those where I like him on the videos, because Renfield on the videos where he's the actual assistant is so great.
But it's like, so this ending with, it was a knockdown, drag out fight. I mean, I don't even feel like it was really a match. It was just they came out, they beat the crap out of each other. Yes, the bell rang, but it never rang officially.
And that's what I meant by I don't think some of the acts were happy with it because it wasn't an actual match, so it wasn't an actual finish. But it's, again, to me, this is what I love about wrestling. It's storytelling.
Yeah.
We're getting to something. We're building something,
Dave
and it's
talked about
beautiful.
that last when he was last on. Sometimes you have to let things do. You have to build the story somehow.
Yeah, before the living legend took over.
He went into asshole mode. And
I was going to say
about 10:30.
before the goddamn method actor took over.
Yeah.
So I love Dave Sagan for that. It's amazing.
But then he drags him out to the car, and like almost literally drags him out to the car. And then
he did.
Him up,
literally dragged him and threw him in the back. It was great.
Yeah. So I am excited to see where this is going to go next.
And I love.
Part of me is thinking it's like it doesn't even have to happen at MPX. If MPX is just we're okay with being a middle way through it,
right? That, or even it's one of those where they take it on the road and they hit there. While being selfish, yes, I want it to end in MPX, but it's one of those where I have it. It's one of those I do see going lots of places.
And it's like, and if it happens to all happen at MPX, all the better. I'm perfectly fine with that too, because obviously it's MPX.
Yep, and it's one of those where I love, like I said, I love Palmer's videos. The whole infomercial of, do you have monsters at your wrestling show? It's just so great. Just love it.
It's great. And but yeah. And then after that, we had an actual match in which the living legend we were just talking about, Dave Sagan, took on Mikey B.
Which is there a better way to debut this character than against the boy band?
Yeah.
You have the 70s, 80s rock guy against pop. It's wonderful.
And honestly, it's like.
And also one of those you really want. Granted, you've already attacked Tatum. People hate you, and because it's MPX Golden Boy. Now you're taking out the other pretty young white boy.
I was going to say, it's like this.
It's great.
Mikey B is somebody who's popular with that same crowds. Therefore,
pop.
Yeah. And so therefore this match being what it was, and the fact that he was kind of ruthless. I mean, Mikey got a good comeback, but unfortunately, Rock will never die.
No, it doesn't. And it's a very, I don't know how many people have seen Rock of Ages, but to me, I get Stacy Jacks mostly from Dave.
I can see that.
Stacy Jacks,
Steven Tyler,
Nikki Sixx, Brett Michaels, those. It's like all those. And I think it's great. And of course he'll obviously tweak it himself, but man, if he started really playing into it and like throwing some of the scarves to the women or giving.
Musically talented. I'm almost surprised we haven't gotten.
Oh, I'm sure we are.
Some kind of.
We're going to.
Yeah.
But throw the scarves to the fan, to a girlfriend, or a room key or something like. I could see him doing that.
Just go get
so easily.
Yeah, just go get some obsolete keys, throw them to the chicks.
Oh, it'd be so great.
Especially if he,
have one of his groupies throw like bras and panties in the ring. Come on, what's happening. If he can find, well, let's be honest. If Lizzie's there,
I was going to say, you know. But it's like, and the fact that Dave didn't even win with the hailstorm, which is like one of the biggest changes in my opinion.
Yeah,
it's like because it like through the entire time we've seen Dave, it's always been the hailstorm.
Yep. I feel like his very first couple of runs, he was doing the zigzag a little bit.
Yeah.
Like the Impact Player days. I think it was when he broke out, is when he really started doing the Hailstorm. If I remember correctly, and of course, maybe wrong, but
they're very similar moves in a lot of ways.
were they very similar?
They
sir?
just go different directions.
Sir, the zigzag is straight from the back. The Hellsigen's like a rock bottom from the front. They're not similar.
Yes, they are.
Have you been drinking?
No.
Okay, they're not similar. Dimitri, are they similar? Yeah,
But,
let's hear from an actual expert in wrestling to see if they're similar.
Yeah. But Dave winning with an Anaconda Vice.
Yeah, which again is kind of leads to the whole, oh, I'm going to be even bigger dick, because let's be honest, while I do love CM Punk, he's one of the most hated men in wrestling for some ungodly reason. Heaven forbid your company treats you like shit and you walk out and quit, people are going to hate you and turn your back on you.
I know, right?
It's one of those I don't understand. Yeah, I'm talking about you.
But honestly, he's like, you either love him or you hate him, and there's nothing in between. Same way with Dave, actually.
Oh, look, from a wrestler. Not even close to the same move, bro. Yeah, not the same. But yeah, using any kind of vice, getting that kind of cheapy, I guess, if people equate it to CM Punk, which they probably should. I think it's great. And then again, you can also grab a scarf or a handkerchief from your thing and use it even better. I think it'd be good.
Yeah. But then, of course, Tatum comes out to confront him, and
which again, what a living legend does.
Dave.
Don't touch me.
Yeah. Just Dave he's like, that's all business. It's all business. I mess around. We're still friends in my eyes, everything like that. And then just pop, run.
Poor young Tatum. The wrestling business hadn't jaded him yet. It's a personal business, I guess.
And all the head injuries are not going to help.
You forget sometimes. Yeah. But again, also going back to what we mentioned earlier, but Tatum wearing the Terry Funk shirt just thought was great. Because again, it's, even though Tatum is young, he's also a student. Like if you actually talk to Tatum, the amount of wrestling he has watched and learned and studied, I think is great.
It was his, it's like, hell, we have it up on Spotify and everything like that. He talked about how,
you actually brought stuff up on Spotify?
It's been there for almost a year now, actually over a year now. But
Kyle, shut up.
but the damn it. He talks about how, wrestling was like one of his major escapes when he was growing up. So, of course, he took that, he absorbed it, and, now he's using it to his advantage in the ring.
Well, and I think what's great about people's Tatum age, which, yes, he's very young, obviously, is their first exposure to Terry Funk and Mick Foley, for that matter, is Chainsaw Charlie and Cactus Jack in 98 type run with the Attitude Era and stuff like that. And then you actually go back and watch their stuff, and I think you appreciate them a little more. I think a lot of people, you could do that nowadays, I think, with, say, someone like Richter. If all they know from MPX and Richter Reigns and stuff like that, go back and watch when he first started as Epi, this Fat Samoa and stuff like that, and I think you appreciate them better because you realize how good they are. Same with Dexter. Some of the clips that him and Wes were posting from his old stuff in like 98, 99, you appreciate wrestlers a lot better when you actually know what they can do and where they came from and what they studied and stuff like that.
Yeah. And honestly, it's like this is a rivalry that I kind of was looking forward to, because it's like, when we heard that Dave was going to be leaving at Aztec Warfare, I'm like, oh man, well, he's not going to go out fighting his best friend.
Well, let's be honest. As soon as Sagan Manning debuted, we're like, oh, I can't wait for this to blow up.
Yeah, and then he's like I said, and then he was talking about he's leaving at Aztec Warfare, and I was just like, oh man, that's kind of disappointing.
Exactly, and then a lot of people thought he was actually leaving, just leaving Tatum Layden.
I was like, which also would have worked, but I think I wanted to see this more.
I think it would have worked for the simple fact that we know Dave will be back, and even if he did that and then left for 4 months and came back and attacked Tatum again, it would be great.
Yeah,
like it's one of those where even after they have their blow-off match or feud or whatever it is, even after, if Tatum comes back 6 months, 4 months, a year from now, and just randomly attacks Tatum, if they could do that forever, it'd be great. Okay.
I see what it is. I was thinking the opposite of the zigzag, where it comes from the other direction, from the front rather than the back.
Oh, the drive-by kind of?
Yeah.
Okay. Or pay dirt or whatever Shelton calls it. Yeah, it's like the jumping
cutting room floor.
The jumping
cutting room floor to me.
Sorry, I forgot we're in MPX. The cutting room floor.
But no, it's like I'm thinking the cutting room floor in which it's like that and the rock bottom. It's like it's same move,
zigzag
just
from the back.
different direction.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Which even then, still not really the same. One goes forward, one goes back. One hurts the back of your head, one hits the front of your head.
Thus the same move, different direction.
The mechanics are so different.
Not really.
One, you're standing and putting them down. The other one, you're bringing them down to... Sir, who are you?
One's a baseball, one's a back bump. That's it.
Yes, mechanics are different. Tell a wrestler, hey, I'm going to do this. They're kind of similar. They're going to look at you and be like, the fuck? They're not similar. Those aren't even similar. If you want to say a Uranagi and the rock bottom are similar, fine. Those are similar.
Yeah. I don't know. We can fight about that one later, but let's talk about the other big surprise.
I need a new co-host. One that knows what he's talking about.
I do know what I'm talking about, and you just happen to have a different opinion. Shut up. T-Ray versus Casey Clay.
Yes, and having T-Ray, who's got, 6 or 8 belts in Texas, having him here in MPX is amazing. We've wanted him back forever. Super, super busy man, obviously, with 6 or 8 titles.
He's booked everywhere. The fact that he finally was able to come back to MPX is
I don't think there's a better opponent for Casey to learn against, and then 2, for T-Ray to kind of come in and show what he can do then against one of our top guys and Casey.
Yeah. And it shows him up so bad that he walks out.
Which, again, I think is the best way this match could have gone.
Oh, it is.
Because, look, Casey obviously isn't going to take a pinfall loss or submission or whatever. T-Ray's not going to do that either. Well, okay, he would. What I mean is, booking-wise, I'm not going to have T-Ray lose. This is the best outcome you could have had for this match to end. Because, one, Casey, I still think, stays strong as the cocky asshole who's like, no, fuck that, I don't need this. He's like, I got Frankie later. I don't need to waste my time with this. I'll take the count loss because in the end, what does it really matter?
Yeah.
And then you're going to have...
And especially with the way he did it, it wasn't him being knocked out of the ring and then just, not able to get up in time.
Right.
It was, he walked down and was like, fuck it.
Yeah,
it
exactly.
Was his own power.
Which I thought was great. Part of me did think Frankie was thrown back in.
I was kind of expecting that too, but this is fine. This is character building for Frankie or for Casey rather than a match build for Frankie.
Right, and I love how every time Casey announces or says to go to MPX, Frankie's right there like, oh, I got enough to do. I'll see you there. Because it is that tease that if people do follow the post on Facebook, stuff like that, they're all, you have in their back of mind, oh, Frankie's going to hit him. Frankie's there.
I was like, that's actually, it really does illustrate how multimedia.
I was going to say, use social media.
Yeah. It's like MPX is a multimedia show. There are the fights between the different wrestlers online and everything like that. And now other wrestling promotions are starting to catch on to that.
Yep. They're catching on, and it's also, again, we've said it for years. Dexter, who was the king of social media, learned from him.
Yeah.
I think that's one reason why he got over and same with Exodus. It's one reason they get over so well or so hated with the addicts is because their presence on the presence on the addicts page. They don't let
you forget them, not even presence, for the week.
Exactly, the presence on Facebook. Marcus Rose, same thing. We hadn't seen him in how long in MPX, yet people still wanted him and asked for him because he's constantly pretty much saying, hey, y'all aren't going to forget me. I'm still here.
Yeah.
And it's the same with Casey and Frankie. They're building something, and it's beautiful.
As like Marcus is admittedly mostly using it to build Heart of Texas, but still, he's not letting people forget.
Oh, of course not.
It's getting people wanting him back at MPX so much that we're going to see him again soon.
Yep.
So
and a match that we had asked for.
We'll get to see that in a bit.
And again, T-Ray, who was always like, soon, or I'll be here, I'm coming. And I don't even think he said anything. I think he just posted his image.
Well, if we're talking about wrestlers saying soon.
Well, yeah, exactly. Remedy. That's why I was like, I don't think he said soon, but he either said I'm coming or he just posted his image.
Yeah.
Which is great. Same with when Mr. Nasty was making an appearance. He just posted a video. It's beautiful.
Oh man, Mr. Nasty's videos are just like some of the top tier stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love them. I kind of wish that he was closer by so we could get that more.
Yep.
But understandable. He's a treat.
Yes.
For us.
Hey,
Not a special treat.
Tommy Dean just joined the chat.
Huh? Who?
Tommy Dean.
Oh, hey Tommy. How you doing, man? But this match really good. I'm actually looking forward to what's going to happen next for Casey. Because it's like, is he going to become the cowardly heel, or is he gonna, basically
You're wrong. Just admit it.
You don't use those moves.
Doesn't matter. He still knows what he's talking about. Do not question. That man will kill you.
He's already tried to kill me once. I've survived. No, he's tried to kill me twice. Sorry. Yeah.
You hear that, right?
Yep.
I'll be interviewing a new co-host soon. I would have one if he would just like to get on camera.
What, Rocky?
Rather him than certain other people. But then the main event, which honestly, if it weren't for the Kirby and Dexter match, this would have been match of the night, because I was like, I thought the crowd was going to be exhausted after that double shot of pure energy, after the insanity of Palmer and Malico.
The surprises of T-Ray and Mercer, the match of Kirby and
I seriously
Dexter.
thought that this was going to get a lot less of a reaction than it did, and I gotta say that all the boys showed out.
Is that a little dig?
Huh?
That's a little innuendo for you with the boys.
Yeah.
Okay.
All the boys, all four of them.
Yeah.
Skip says, I'll be the new co-host.
There we go.
I mean, yeah.
Some people like him.
Yeah, no, and they should. Yeah. But they think he's a real sweet boy.
Apparently. I don't necessarily know what that means, but
it means whatever he needs it to mean for whatever purpose.
But yeah,
hey, Skip, get us on 7 questions.
The tag match is amazing because it's one of those where, while yes, we know Brixton and Gabe know each other.
Yeah.
We don't know how they're going to work as a team.
I really was. It's like I knew that they would work fine as a team because it was.
Well, and it's like we said, tag teams. We know, like Sky's have a lot of tag teams. We know Sky can work in a tag team.
Yeah.
Tommy and Gabe were great tag teams. So yes, you have those guys who are tag team specialists. Sometimes chemistry might still be off.
But the chemistry worked here.
Yeah, they did for both teams. Excessive Madness, as they were dubbed, was
and it's like heck,
great.
even the chemistry between the tag teams themselves.
Yes. Exactly.
The whole match, really, even with, unfortunately, Sky being taken out for a little bit.
Yeah, but it's one of those where I think it's designed that way because, let's be honest, you can see where management is, at least in my eyes, and what I think is going with the Mad Prince. They, and rightfully so, they see something in him. Whether it be the character or the crowd behind him or his in-ring work, there is something there. Yeah. And same with all 4 of these men. But you can tell Mad Prince is like their new favorite toy. And they're playing with him. Oh, yes. Literally. And because let Tommy play, they're playing with him as much as they can.
Honestly, I think between everything that's going on with him here at MPX, with the stuff that he's able to do over at CWF, and now with what he's doing across the state, it's like I think Tommy is well on his way to being a breakout star for Texas.
Yes, he is. And I think the same with Gabe Tube. I think this rugged persona and how he works is, I think they both are. As a tag team, they were already on their way. Even singly, they are.
Yeah, it's like as a tag team, I love them. Gabe and the Mad Prince are a fantastic tag team. But having these single runs, I like Civil Disorder, but I'm really hoping that Gabe is able to get an actual honest to Bob singles run soon, rather than just be, in a lot of ways, the coattail rider.
And obviously, we'll talk about it later, but I'm pretty sure it's coming.
Yeah, I'm hoping so, yeah.
It's one of those where, again, we've talked about it before with brother tag teams. You got that one who's full of charisma, and that's who everyone kind of skyrockets towards. And you've got the one who is a little bit of a better worker, and kind of, because he doesn't have that charisma or doesn't have that gimmick or character to go with, kind of gets left in the shadow. And I have a feeling pretty soon Gabe's going to jump out of that shadow.
I was going to say, it's like I don't think either of them have that that uneven dichotomy between the two of them, because they're both really solid in the ring.
Yes.
And while the Mad Prince has the more explosive presence,
he's crazy. Crazy is always good on camera.
Yeah, it's like he's got the more explosive presence.
Case in point, right?
Gabe is very, very much, it's like it. honestly, I know it's not just because of the name or just because of their personal style and everything like that. They very much remind me of the Hardy Boys.
Yeah.
And I feel like Gabe is the Matt of the two.
When people wrestle, you can kind of tell who they idolize and mimic, and you can't tell me Mad Prince did not love Jeff Hardy.
Oh yeah, no. I'm just hoping they don't end up,
Again, you didn't like it. I did. I liked Matt.
No,
and Jeff's match.
I'm not talking their match. I'm talking how they are now.
Oh, well, I think he's sober.
Is he?
Pretty sure Jeff is.
I haven't seen Jeff in forever, so
Well, he's been injured.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's been sober 2 years.
Last time I heard,
ever since he's been hired by the E, I think he's been sober.
No, I'd
Really?
heard. Yeah, no, he had gotten in trouble and everything.
Well, the Usos get in trouble and they're still kept there. So. Is it not true?
No, you're absolutely right.
The thing that kills me about that, though, is apparently people were blaming Naomi. What the fuck is wrong with people?
It's the whole people want to do the Yoko Ono thing.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's like, no, the man made his own fucking choices and made it again and again. And yes, alcoholism is an addiction. Addiction is a disease, and I hope he gets better. But at the same time, there are certain decisions you make that alcoholism is not an excuse.
Right.
It's like driving while drunk, DUIs, that's you fucked up.
Which, I mean, and again, obviously, trying to bring it back to Mad Prince and this tag match, it's one of those where, again, this was a showcase to see what Mad Prince can do in the ring. Because while, yes, Sky did get taken out kind of early, and again at the end, because it took his shoulder out.
I love the
legitly.
I love the fact that they did that. They fixed it out in front of everybody just to show.
That is that crazy motherfucker going, hey, this is going to be cool. Pop it in front of the fans.
Pop it right there. Yeah.
There's not a doubt in my mind. They're like, let's go back. He goes, no. I want it right here in front of Brian and everything.
Yeah.
That is exactly the conversation they had. Oh, let's get you back. No, fuck you. Just pop it right here.
Also, it helps that pole was right there and allowed him to, have that stable.
Oh my God. Which I've popped my shoulder out and had it popped back in. It's not pleasant.
No, it's not.
Especially when it's during football and a coach doesn't goes, all right, go back out there. Can I have a play, please? Fuck.
No, dislocating anything and popping it back into place. It's like I didn't do my shoulder, I did my thumb. And it's like, it's my thumb.
One of my favorite stories in wrestling is when Bret Hart won his first WWF title against Ric Flair, popped his finger out. He rolls over. And Mr. Perfect's looking right at him, and he pops it back in, and you can see Perfect's face go, oh, like it disturbed Kurt Hennig.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, fuck.
Yeah. No,
and then Bret Hart tells the story, he's like, nothing's going to stop me from winning this match.
Yeah, the visual and the sound of popping a joint back into place, for the people who are doing it, it hurts. It really does. I have very little grip strength in my right hand because of that now.
Oh, my shoulder goes out all the time. It sucks.
It's like for the people watching, I made one of my managers throw up because I did it at work.
Well, and I forgot. I'm pretty sure it was Vengeance 09. Triple H and Orton went for an RKO, picked him up, threw him over the ropes, and he breaks his collarbone. A lot of people thought it was his shoulder. He broke his collarbone. And it's one of those, Orton's one of those, I think he was pounding the mat once and threw his shoulder out. Once you dislocate his shoulder, it's always going to pop out.
Yeah.
You're always going to have issues with it. Same with thumbs. You did it once, you're going to do it again.
I've been very careful about that. I was just like,
But again, that visual, and again, I think it proved, hopefully we see Excessive Madness again a little bit, because I think they did work well together. Like you always joked, Silver found his Sky replacement, Sky found his Silver replacement.
Yeah.
But obviously Brixton and Gabe getting the win, which was it you that was trying to goad Gabe and saying he didn't get a win over Tommy?
We talked about it on Mainline, and then he went off.
Which again, brilliant. Use social media.
And come after us.
Gabe did come after you. No, don't come after me. I'm an emotional wreck. Don't come after me. But no. But again, using social media and getting that present and getting that story of Gabe being like, it doesn't matter if it's a tag or a one-on-one, I beat him.
Yeah.
I think is brilliant. And again, it continues their feud, which it
does.
Obviously, their feud's going to continue. They're one of those that are going to be linked like Kevin and Sammy. We're going to fight forever.
Look at certain things. It looks like that may be a thing that happens.
Yeah, of course.
but I'm not the booker, so I don't get to make that decision. But yeah, no, this was a great, a great way to end the night. And like I said, I was surprised by how hot the crowd was.
Yeah, like we said, with the lull match, which is going to happen in every wrestling show, it sucks against it's a debuting guy and someone on their second return, because I do feel bad for them, because I'm like, man, I really wish the addicts would care more, but when you have what we have going on, you just can't.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you've been to Manias, you've been to bigger independent shows and longer independent shows. Sometimes you just get drained as a fan.
Good Lord.
And
a match I had wanted to see for weeks, and because the show had gone on for so long, I'm just like, I don't think I can go out there again.
Well, and that's the thing. It could be different reasons. It could be the show goes too long. Very important promotion. It could be, the fact that it's just too hot of the building. I went to New Texas and Abilene. Great show. Building's so fucking hot. I don't want to exert energy cheering and yelling and standing up and stuff. And again, it's nothing against the workers or the promotion. It's just sometimes as a fan and as an addict, you get drained.
Yeah. And it's like I said, that's what surprised me. These guys were able to get the crowd that hot after being that drained.
Exactly.
And it's like the show that the addicts had just that much more in them, and they pulled it out.
Be honest, there's times, because I've said it before time and time again, I'll start something because it's like a puppet master. If something starts and it catches on, now I'm just thankful. Now it's not only me. You've got Ernie Pruitt and his crowd and his girls doing it. Yes. I'm no longer by myself to be the puppet master and pull the strings. I got them to do it now. Yeah, you got it's wonderful.
You got this group of people calling themselves the Front Row Posse, and they don't do anything to get the crowd going. So, it's like, what kind of
shots fired
authority are they?
God damn. That is not the person you were shooting on. But no, it's great, because there are times where, if I get too tired or literally my voice is gone, I've got them to do it, and it's wonderful.
Yeah. But it's like, so that was an intense emotional roller coaster of a show. And I didn't think that there was anything that MPX could do to, top that before Purple Rain. But then some of the announcements got made for this week.
Again, it's got to be there every Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
Especially leading up to a big show like Purple Rain.
With Metroplex Wrestling's Hard Days Night, It's a hard day's night. This is going to be a hell of a show. I'm just so looking forward to it, because honestly, first and foremost, we've got a debut that I'm kind of looking forward to, especially given how.
Of course you are.
I'm surprised Red hasn't gone. I know he's kind of busy with some of the other stuff he's doing, but he hasn't started a fight with these guys already now that this has been announced.
Yeah, a little bit. It's one of those where, one, I'm glad that him and Noah are still there and together, because there are times and things I've seen on Facebook where other people are saying Red and this person, or Red and that person, are like, no, Red's got a partner.
Yeah.
Why are we not tagging Red and Noah? Like, it's just weird to me. But again, after one, I'm glad he's fine after the casket match with Silver. Man, and then two, to see him come back with Noah, because
some of the stuff they did, he should be dead, but
everyone, maybe a little bit of the mortalness rubbed off or something. But again, as someone who loves, tag teams, I'm glad this is a team that's established, and I want to see them more as a team.
And it's like, I don't know. Their shirts say the trainers. They still keep getting called Red and Noah on the card. So, I guess MPX management isn't quite so behind the.
Well, and again, it goes back to my problem with him being called the trainer to begin with. He's a rookie. Yeah. You can't be a trainer if you're a rookie. I understand it's for your Pokemon gimmick. No, don't call yourself a trainer in wrestling. Yeah. Unless you are a legit trainer and been
will be
there
taking
forever.
On the Chili Boys, represented by Corey O'Neill and what was the
Mason Price.
Mason Price, thank you.
God, didn't I tell you? I know all this down.
I know CJ, Corey, and John, and it's this guy, John Phillips.
I didn't know. I thought it was those three. I didn't know they had a fourth.
No, there's a fourth. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, write this down. I told you, write it down. But yes, I'm very excited. I've seen Corey O'Neill 2 times. I think he's got a good future. He had a match at the other place with Tatum, and Tatum raved about him. And I think he's one of the bigger guys.
Wasn't he the one that Sagan Manning went up against him and somebody
Yeah, I
else?
wasn't going to mention that because that kind of hurt Dave. But he is Philly soft. That is true. What? It's a thing. Have you not seen the Facebook post?
Yeah.
Hashtag Philly soft.
Okay.
It's true.
If you say so.
I mean, I don't say so. I'm just reporting what I read on Facebook.
Yeah.
Because if it's on Facebook, it's true.
God, are we going back to that again?
Is it not?
No, wait. That was if it's hashtagged, it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
So, yeah.
God.
I think you did have.
That was one of my first gimmicks, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh shit! I don't have gimmicks. I'm not a person.
Yeah.
That was one of my first bits. How's that?
One of the first acts. Yeah.
But no, I'm very happy to see the Chili Boys. We've also, again, people knowing who they are asking, oh, maybe CJ's there.
I hope so.
I do too. It's been a while since we've seen CJ, and I thought CJ did very well with his title.
I had heard that he's taking a break, which, is like, honestly, it is my opinion that anybody who is a champion anywhere for a long period of time should be, take a break after you drop it. And
that, and I think every wrestler should. Man, you got some, Dimitri. Dimitri went very hard for months. Take a weekend off. And I know it feels that it hurts because wrestling is if you're not there, people forget about you type thing. I think there are certain wrestlers with a status like a Dimitri that, man, if he took just a weekend off, which he did, thankfully, it doesn't hurt. People are still going to know who you are. People, if anything, it goes back to the old argument we have with Boss Man. They want you more when they don't see you, which I see both sides of the coin.
Yeah.
But when you go so hard for so long, take a break. Sky was one of those where, with that title run, after he drops it, take a break. And I think he took a week maybe. And it's like, take a little longer. But again, it's the curse of the beast and curse of wrestling. It's you feel that need, especially independently, to go. Yeah. And it's like, man.
And it's like, especially
listen. I guess listen to your body, physically and mentally.
Please listen to your body. I know sometimes your brain will tell you if you're not doing something, you're nothing. But don't listen to that part. That part of you is lying to you. You're something one way or the other. But so this match I'm looking forward to.
Yes.
I hope CJ shows up because I do kind of miss him. But if
even if it's just to be ringside with him, just to see CJ in the building again.
For him to show is like, you know what, Menage a Trois, they're unnecessary. I've got my boys.
I was gonna say, and it's also, let's be honest, and God, I hate to say it, but it gives that I hate the term, but it gives that rub to Corey and Mason in MPX, who some addicts will not know.
Yeah.
To have CJ be like, no, this is my team. This is my group.
Yeah.
This is who's always had my back. Tatum and Larry never had my back. They did.
Yeah.
And to bring it in the PX, I think that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. Then, of course, we've also got Dave Sagan taking on the Iron Belly.
You're so excited for this.
I am. Especially since I know that this is a match that Iron Belly has wanted for a while.
Well, and again, it's one of those, especially as a trainee in MPX, there's a handful of people you definitely want to go against. And I feel Dave is at the top of that list.
Yeah.
Because while Dave has always been great in the ring and great character work, you can learn so much just by being with him or even talking to him.
Yeah.
But the living legend going against this, what exactly... Celtic, like what exactly would you call the Iron Belly?
He's a dwarf.
I wasn't gonna fully say because I didn't know if that's where we were going, but yes, this Celtic dwarf, and it's gonna be a great matchup because it is something different for Dave to go against. Because while yes, he is a dwarf, he's still a big boy. So to have this matchup, and again, I like how. Is there anything better than for Dave to be going against the rookies and young guys building to what is one of the top rookies in a while against Tatum, and especially with this whole living legend to be like, look, I've got the experience. I'm better than you. You need to follow my advice and follow my lead and not listen to everyone else. I think it's great. And let's be honest, with Dave in there, the storytelling's going to be spot on.
It is, yeah.
Love the promo with Iron Belly, which I know it inflates your ego, but it's a good promo.
Okay. All I did this time was film it. The rest was him.
Oh, you didn't produce and direct and write and script and everything like you have before?
No.
Oh, okay.
Like I said, this time was all him. He had his ideas, everything like that.
Good. No, I enjoyed it. And I think I love them because they're so simple. Mm-hmm. Because he is a guy who doesn't need to do a lot. He literally needs to just carry a hammer, say, I'm going to beat you.
Yeah, I was going to say, when we first started doing them, he was really concerned about how short they are. And I'm like, you don't need them to be long, man. It's like you.
For one, you are short. Two, it's the same with Sky. Sky's one of those that everyone's like, oh, he's not good at promo, One, for his character, he is. Two, his character doesn't need promo. Same with Remedy. Remedy is a character who doesn't need a promo.
Yeah.
Those are two big guys who are just going to go beat the shit out of you.
The most promo guys like them need is the ability to say a few words and then go on.
I think look at Taker. Taker never said anything or never did promos until American Badass.
Yeah.
And people were like, oh, he actually can cut promos and talk. Yeah, no shit. But his character at the time didn't need it.
Yeah.
And it's the same with Iron Belly. Even if it's someone was, I'm going to crush you. Great. That's all you need to do. Mm-hmm. And from the promos he's done, they're brilliant. I forgot what it was with Mikey B, but where he just ate the apple. Or didn't say, Mikey B.
Where Mikey B just ate the
lunch, where he didn't say a word. Just that was brilliant.
And it's like, things like that are fantastic character work and everything like that. It's like we talk about character work a lot and everything.
Yes.
It's like these two guys prove that you don't need the long, I have wrestled from coast to coast, thousands of matches and bell to bell and everything like that. It's like you don't need to tell us your entire history. Just tell us, I'm here. I'm gonna go kick ass. And I'll see you this Saturday or whatever.
But then on the flip side of that, you do have some like Exodus and Marcus and Dexter who will do that, and it works for them, and it's brilliant. It's just, I think this is especially with someone as young as Iron Belly, it's a know your character and know your work, and he's nailing it. I'm sure
completely,
you have a hand in it, but it's one of those where as long as you know your character,
I'm very. Most of my pride is vicarious because I dropped out of training and everything like that, and I decided to do this instead.
Well, you got dropped out or knocked out? Which one was it?
I got no. I saw white, brother. Like I couldn't see anything but white.
But did you see the stars and birds?
I didn't even couldn't even see that. It was just white. But no. It was like I knew my body wasn't going to be able to take it. I knew that I don't have what it takes to be a wrestler. And so it's like, but I discovered I have this, and I'm good at this. I don't, people like what I do. Some people do, some people don't. But I do what I do, and I love what I do, so this is what I do.
Yeah, and it's...
But seeing him do what he loves to do, I get a little bit of vicarious pride about that, because I'm kind of the one who dragged him kicking, screaming into it.
Well, no, it's one of those, we've said it before with rookies. One, it's... because we do get to know them, some on a more personal level like you, and then others where we just know they're going through it and they are MPX trained, they're our own. We do feel a sense of, I don't want to say, we're proud. It's a pride, it's entitlement. It's one of those where we want to see them succeed. I want to see Tatum on the big screen for a big promotion because it's one of those where it's one, I think he has the talent, and two, he's ours. He was homegrown. Tatum, Ryan, Tommy Jackson, these guys.
Casey Noah
Red, Iron Belly, Mikey B.
Aaron?
Yes. I didn't want to say the real name.
Yeah,
I'm still getting used to Aaron. It's one of those where I do want to see them succeed. And like in Aaron's case in point, we have gone a little hard on him because we want... It's not necessarily hard for hate's sake. It's hard for tough love. It's, I want to see you do well. I want to see you be good. Because right now...
Trust me, if we didn't like you, we wouldn't talk about you.
True. It's one of those where it's, again, you're representing MPX, so I do want you to be the best because in my eyes, MPX is the best. And let's be honest, MPX wouldn't, the management and trainers wouldn't put them out there if they weren't prepared and ready.
For the most part, anyway.
Oh, yeah. But this match with Iron Belly and Dave is going to, I think it's going to prove what Iron Belly can actually do. for the simple fact that he hasn't necessarily been in the ring with someone as experienced as Dave.
I mean, he was in the ring with Kirby, and that was really good for him.
But that's training and trainer.
Yeah.
Which I know people hate saying that, but it is what it is. It's that familiarity. And while yes, Dave probably has been in trainings before, and they have probably worked together here and there in training, it's different when you're in the ring. You've got that you've got the crowd, and you've also got that look. This is a bigger. Everything's more amped up.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've talked to him before. I'm sure for his first match, he was very nervous. I think a sign of a good wrestler is you should always be nervous going through that curtain.
Oh, trust me. From what I have heard, is like when you're talking about that, it's like being nervous to be up there that first time. Does that go away? No.
No, and I don't think it should. When it
If
does go away, you need to retire.
Yeah.
Because it should always be something exciting and nervous. Not just because it is a dangerous thing you're doing, but because it's that love and that drive of I'm performing for people. I want to do the best.
Yeah. It's like not necessarily I want to do it right, but you want to do the best you can at
right.
it, and you don't want to
I was gonna say you've been theater. It's no matter what you act or what you do, it's you want to do the best and you want to perform and you want to leave the crowd happy.
Yeah.
And so if you lose that drive of I just don't want to do it anymore, then don't do it.
Yeah.
But if every time you step there and you're like, oh, I'm nervous, good. You should be.
It's like if I ever get bored with doing this, then I'm done.
Oh, I'm never nervous doing this. It's a full-on lie. I usually sit on Thursdays every day. I wake up trying to think, okay, what am I going to say? I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And then I forget every time I get here. But because it's one of those things.
We do better off the cuff anyway.
I was going to say most people don't realize. Like we're not joking. We literally don't really plan anything out. Yes, we plan a little bit of like,
I write what the matches are.
Right. But we don't have, even on mainline, which especially mainline, because that's where our more quote unquote scripted, even though we're not scripted.
We might look at each other and go, it's like, remind me to say this, Jab.
Right. But it's off the cuff, because to me, improv, I think, is the best form of entertainment. And I think wrestling to a degree is that. It's very improv, especially with old school wrestlers. I can't remember. I think it was Kirby and Baby D were talking about one time in training. It was like, look, yeah, you can plan spots all you want, but if the crowd's not buying it, you're going to have to change it. So therefore, I can go out there with someone like Baby D, and I know I can look at her and be like, hey, we got to change this. We got to do that, because they're listening to the crowd. That's improv. And that's, I think, what I would say probably 80% of wrestling
about
is.
This one, just talking about the legend that is Tim Storm and everything like that. He came out thinking he was going to be the face. Dexter was going to be the heel, but it was very obvious where the crowd was going. So he leaned into that.
Yep. And that's what you need to do.
Yeah. And when he came back the next time, he leaned into it even further, and it was perfect.
Yep. Exactly. And like I said, it's all those things you're going to learn. And while Iron Belly may not be young, he's young in his career. And I think this is going to be a huge learning experience being in there with Dave. And I really do think it's going to be a good match. It may not be a 5-star or 4-star, but it's going to be a good, fun, solid match. Because let's be honest, Dave, no matter who he's against, he's not going to let himself have a bad match.
Yeah.
He will fucking carry you to a good match if he has to.
But I'm going to talk about what to me should be the main event of the night.
That wasn't Dave. That was
next.
Sebastian.
Before I talk about the other announced match, because that's going to lead into a whole thing. Dexter versus Exodus Prime.
Yes,
it's Dexter's last match, win or lose.
Yeah, and it's one of those where it's like, I hate being that person, but is it really his last match if he wins? Because it's one of those where
that's what we thought with Dave. But and that's the thing.
Like we said with Dave, and that's another thing. I feel it does kind of put them in a corner, because you don't want to do that twice, because we just did it with Dave. But it's also one of those where, man, just think of the moment and the reaction if Dexter actually wins. It's one of those where it's going to go down as one of the best moments in MPX history. Not just because it's Dexter and it's him winning a title in his final match, even the Addicts title finally being revealed after 6 months.
It's just before Destiny, so February.
Yeah, whatever. I'm not good at math. But months. We haven't seen the X title in months.
Yeah.
It's one of those where who knows what exactly. I feel it'd be a great reaction if he won. And it's one of those where, do I necessarily want to take that moment and reaction away
And of course, there's also the tradition of how
You go out
last match typically goes.
But again, like I said, I feel MPX has put them in the corner because I don't, like we said, we just did it with Dave. We can't necessarily do it again with Dexter because say Dexter wins and then has another last match later. Mm-hmm. It seems wrong. And Dexter's one of those, he seems very old school and he's been very adamant, more adamant than Dave that no, this is it.
Yeah.
So
hell, he's been pushing this since last year.
Exactly. So it's one of those where it's like, I feel it's already been written and pointed to the fact that he is done. Mm-hmm. And like I said, I hate the fact that we've kind of put ourselves in that space, in that corner.
Yeah.
Either way, it's still going to be a phenomenal match.
Yeah.
Because again, Dexter is going to go all out for his final performance. And I keep doing it because again, like we've said earlier, until you're physically unable, like literally in a wheelchair, not going to go, or in a home, you're always going to have that time to come back. Yeah. And then Exodus is so far for 2021, I feel has been our MVP with his title defenses, with his momentum, with his Facebook persona, with everything he's done.
Yeah. I'll be honest. When the year started, I was expecting it to be Dimitri that was going to be, absolutely hands down the wrestler of the year. And while he has put in the work for it, Exodus's, work is just intense.
Yeah. And it's one of those where it's going to be a phenomenal match. And if it truly is Dexter's last match in MPX, I don't think there was a better way to be going out than to give, again, I hate saying the rub, but giving that title of, look, I was the most hated. I am linked to the X title. It's now yours.
Yeah.
Because no matter how long that title is not in the bag, Exodus is linked to it. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah,
that match is going to be great. It's going to be very emotional, obviously.
I was like, in my opinion, is like if it's not the main event, I'll actually be kind of surprised. We haven't gotten any announcements.
I was going to say, it depending on, because you know me with the title, if Brixton's in the house, Brixton's got to close out.
Yeah.
But if he is not, then yes, Dexter and Exodus should hands down be the main event. Mm-hmm. And I think that is also good for one. Either way you go, the reaction. If Dexter wins, that's a phenomenal moment.
The crowd is going to lose.
Exodus wins, crowd boos heavily, and then there's a huge thank you, Dexter, for everything you've done for MPX. It's going to be an emotional moment either way. Either he wins or loses.
It's going
to be in the main event. It is going to probably be a lot of tears in the addict's eyes. So it's going to be great.
So let's go ahead and talk about the.
I love the addict's tears, so it's going to be great. Either way, good or bad.
Depending on the match, I do too. But let's go ahead and talk about the last announced match. And I wanted to save this one for last because it leads into a bigger discussion.
Aren't there two more matches announced? There's two tournament matches announced.
No, there's one. They announced the entire block, but there's only one match.
I thought Marcus and Mikey B. Which one are you talking about?
I'm talking about Kari and X.
I thought Marcus and Mikey was announced too.
No.
Oh, okay.
Kirby, we were specifically told, go check.
No, I'm checking Facebook because I could have sworn.
Yeah, no, we've only got Kari and X.
Okay.
The Prospect Championship is coming back, and this time they're doing it as a tournament. So yeah.
Yeah,
there you go, your tournament, your love of tournaments.
I get my tournament, but it's not my tag tournament yet.
Yeah.
But no, I love.
It's because they're doing that on purpose.
Well, and I love how we got the New Japan style blocks. Like I love the block A, block B. And I love how they're fully announced.
Yes.
Yes. Having look at the brackets, I've already filled mine out, and I can almost guarantee what I think the final's going to be. Just based off how I would book it for story.
It's like I know how I would book it. But
I'm pretty sure
I
you're
would book
in
it
the same way. I mean, we're boys, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's exactly what I think would happen. Doesn't mean it's going to happen because
it's what I'd like to see happen, but that's what I would like.
Well,
to see
and like
happen.
I said, I think it makes the most sense,
especially with considering who it is that's going up in each of the blocks. Because, like I said, we got Kari Wright and Xavier Daniels on this one. And by the way, I want to address some of the addicts, whether they're watching or not. We have one X at MPX.
That is very true. And
So,
until
if you want-
Xavier and Exodus have a match for the rights for the X.
I mean, hell, we're still waiting for Jordan X to go up against Dan.
Oh, they had it for the battle for the
music.
Yeah,
They did.
pretty sure Jordan Lennox and X fought.
Huh? Lennox. Yeah, I was blanking on his last name. I like the guy. He's really cool and a really great wrestler. I was
He took a
blanking on the
break
name.
for a while. I don't know
He
if he's
did,
back
and
or not.
I know he's going to be back for Lucha Brutal.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. Unfortunately, they're running on Saturday nights now, so that's like really hamstringing our ability to go and cover them like we want to. So, Brutal Honesty is going to be on a little bit of hiatus until we can get that sorted out.
Or we could always split up and wonder with
Yeah, but
apparently you said people got mad last time we did that.
yeah. Yeah, it's like, yeah. So we've got one X. If you want a single syllable thing to chant at Exodus, his last name is Prime.
Prime is the easiest thing to do.
Yeah.
Because I was rewatching stuff and I was like, I even tried doing Exodus. And yeah, it didn't work. Prime.
Let's go, Prime. You suck, Prime.
Yeah.
Or even people used to make fun of Tatum with tater tots. It's like Amazon Prime, Although
Don't
that
tell them to do that.
Who knows?
I don't want to hear that. Pretty young white boy section. Don't do that, please.
Oh, they don't watch. They don't like us.
Oh, that's true.
Prime?
No. Remember, one watches because he's got to tell that.
Yeah, right.
You said we weren't going to do this. That's your
you
fault.
started it.
No, I did not.
But yeah, it's like Kari Wright and Xavier Daniels are going up against each other in the first match of this. And this is all going to end at Purple Rain.
Yes.
But the next one is Ian D. Reed, who, formerly Ian Rain, the Heathen, and everything like that.
Menage a
Now
Trois ambassador.
He is coming back something strong. And let me tell you, I'm like really excited to see the full realization of his re-debut. I mean, we kind of got
I'm
to
very
see it.
excited too. I don't like the first round draw.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to go up against the Mad Prince, which,
Yeah.
don't do this to me, guys. Come on.
Oh, they did.
Yeah,
They did it again later.
Yeah, it's like if they had done it as put Mad Prince in the other block where he's taking on.
Okay. But
he's
then
taking
it's
on
not-
Marcus Rose.
But then that's too. You can't
Or
do
someone-
that. It's not as easy to book.
Yeah.
Again, I've already filled out my bracket.
Yeah,
so.
same here, but it was just like it would be just a different. Things would happen earlier, and then it would actually leave the final a little more.
This is something we should have
questionable
done in March. March Madness, fill in with the bracket and stuff. No, we're doing August. Although
for us.
to be
March Madness,
fair,
Mad Prince. Are
well-
you really calling that?
well, and to be fair, New Japan's G1 is in September, so it makes sense.
Yeah. But so Ian Reed, Mad Prince. I can't wait to see that match.
That's gonna be good.
I know that Ian has wanted to face off against the Mad Prince for a while, and of course, Mad Prince is always ready to play.
And it's no disrespect to Ian because I think every wrestler should have this. There's a laundry list of people he wants to go against, and he's very open about who it is. But yes, Mad Prince is on that laundry list.
And then we've got the other block A. Talked about Block B first because that's where the match that's actually
Kari and
happening was.
Exodus.
Mr. Legs versus Gabe Wilder.
Which is-
we haven't seen Legs in a while.
I was going to say it's very good to see Legs back. We haven't seen him in a long while. It's since he's debuted. It's probably the longest time we haven't seen him.
I don't know. Maybe he's been on walkabout.
Nope, not doing it, sir. No, I'm not giving you the credit for that. That was bad.
But it's like this one. It'll be interesting to see because it's like it's very, very different styles, very different.
What dog? He's not here. Someone keeps telling me to pet the dog. The dog is not here. When the dog comes back, I will pet him. I pet him all the time. What? Someone excessively wants me to pet the dog.
Rocky, come here, certified mutt.
There.
There, he pet the dog. But
You weren't here for the longest time.
and then after that, we've also got Marcus Rose versus Mikey B, which a lot of people have wanted to see because it lets Marcus Rose slap yet another white boy.
Yes, and it's also, let's be honest, they're both singing gimmicks. Like, would you not want to see Marcus start a song and then Mikey rip the microphone from him, or vice versa? It would be great. I mean, it's our very own MPX karaoke. So it'd be
That
great.
would be kind of fun. Yeah.
But no,
Just Mikey just starts out with tearing at my heart, that kind.
yeah. And let's be honest, this is what the prospect tournament should be. very young, very hungry MPX athletes, with the exception of Xavier Daniels. Like, yes, he's probably the most veteran, and
Marcus and Xavier are the two most veteran of all of them, and they haven't been around in a while. And honestly,
they haven't been around a while, and they haven't held the prospect title. I don't think they've held singles titles. They've held tag titles.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Don't think they've held singles titles. So again, something that they should. While to me the Addicts title is the workhorse title and the Intercontinental, whatever title you want to call it, it's the stepping stone to what truly is who's going to run as MPX champion.
Yeah.
Prospect is the quicker way to that. Not to say that the Prospect champions haven't done it right.
Yeah.
But let's be honest, the Prospect title should be held by someone of a Mad Prince stature than to be taken over by someone of a Jackson Stone type.
Honestly,
stature.
I've got to say, out of the entire setup, it's for me anyway. It's
Gabe. You're going to go ahead and do it.
It's Gabe and Mad Prince are the two that I
was going to keep teasing it the whole way up until.
Well, I'm just saying,
I wasn't going to give the full bracket.
The two I would want to see as possible prospect champions.
Well, of course,
especially given with how things could end at Purple Rain, because of course Jackson Stone, who will be there at Hard Days Night, is going to be taking on Brixton Shaw.
Right.
At Purple Rain for the MPX championship. If Jackson wins, that gives Gabe the opportunity to try and get, vengeance for his teacher, for his...
He's got to go through 4 wins to get that, though. Yeah. Just because they go through his tournament doesn't mean they already get four things on the prospect title.
A certain hero did that in 2 weeks.
He did not cash in the prospect title. But
he did cash it in. He did not successfully cash in.
Yeah.
But still, it's an opportunity.
You can.
It's the whole thing, Money in the Bank, Prospect Championship, any number one contendership. It's a chance. It doesn't mean you are going to win. It means you have a chance at winning.
Yeah, it's one of those where again, I feel the Addicts title is the workhorse title, but yes, Prospect title is like that shortcut, stepping stone to the MPX title. So we'll see. I'm glad it's back in play. I'm glad we get a tournament, and I love the names that have been picked for it because, like I said, it's a very young, hungry crowd for it.
What's funny to me is the fact that I was discussing with somebody, what if Dexter wins and just vacates the title right there? And it's like, I won. It's back. It's here for all of you. And now, goodbye. I'm vacating. What do they do with the Addicts Championship? And my first thought was, or the first thought of me and the person I was talking to was,
my first thought when he wins it is they retire it, and I'm like, I don't want that, but I can easily see them doing it at least for a little bit.
Yeah,
just because it's one of those where Dexter wins it, retires it because it is so linked to him. I don't want to say it replaces the one at the door, maybe it gets added to it.
Yeah,
and then Dexter somehow, I don't know, because once you're done with wrestling, you're never fully done with wrestling, is our GM and brings it back.
Like when Austin brought back the Intercontinental title.
Exactly, or even the $1 million title they just did recently in NXT. Something that comes back.
Yeah.
Because while we are weekly and we do have, give or take, 7 or 8 matches a week, having 4 titles, the MPX, the Tag, the Addicts, and the Prospect, it's a little much.
Well, that
was always one of my problems with WCW. WCW had so many titles.
Yeah.
Yet the TV title was always usually one of the better matches in workhorse title, as opposed because look at the people that held the TV title because then they defended it every time.
Yeah.
Same with the Addicts title. That's why I call it the workhorse title. How many times do we see Exodus defend it week in and week out, and the people before that? It's
like when you got the good guys winning the title, they're like, I'm going to defend this every week because I'm a fighting champion.
Right.
When you got the bad guys winning it, depending on which ones they are, for one reason or another, MPX management is like, no. If you're here, you're defending that title, and you're going to be here a lot.
Except for the Purge, which I do love that no titles are on line at the Purge.
Yeah,
because it's special and it's
good.
It's the Purge. Everyone needs to, it's not about titles. It's about chaos and violence and anarchy. So, but yes, thoroughly enjoy the brackets and the tournament and think it's going to be great.
And I'm looking forward to it because, like I said, he likes tournaments. I like tournaments. Tournaments are fun. because you get to sit there and kind of make bets and everything like that about who's going to win what. And
I love how because
go.
we've said what we think.
Yeah,
management's gonna be, fuck you. We have a different idea.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like this could go any which way. I mean,
it really could because MPX management has
Legs
done
is
that
a former
to us
prospect
before.
champion himself.
Yep.
It's like we've got the veterans of Marcus Rose and Xavier Daniels.
Just because we're assuming and thinking because it's the built-in storyline, in the end they don't really need that because they have their built-in storyline. We could go a complete different way with it.
This could be a complete out of left field third party kind of thing because it's like if you look at it, look at our heel lineup. We've got 2 that aren't wrapped up in teams of some sort.
Exactly.
And that's it. We have no individual running heels at the moment. Civil Disorder, Best Picture, Bane and Silver, and then you got Dave and Casey on their own. Yeah.
And Dave and Casey are kind of already tied into something. So
yeah, it's like Dave's got his whole thing with Tatum, and Casey's got his thing with Frankie.
Yep.
So everything's tied up right now. I mean, which is great because that leaves a great. My brain just glitched.
Open door for someone to kick in.
Yeah, but no, the continuity, the story.
Yes,
we talk about how much we love everything to matter, and we love story behind everything. It's like all of the heels being wrapped up in something, and perfectly
unless
fine.
it involves a blood bottle, and then we're not supposed to like it.
Yeah, no, we're supposed to hate it. Yeah, it's horrible.
But hey,
never want to talk about it again.
It taught us that we can have a ladder match in that damn building.
Yes.
So I don't care what you say; it was for a good cause.
Yes. The net gain is better than the net loss, and I don't think there really was a net loss.
Yeah,
but yeah. So that is going to be what is at Hard Days Night. We're going to have Jackson and Tatum there. Obviously, they've got things that they're tied up with.
Right. You've got Tatum obviously looking for Dave, and with this match, who knows? We might see him on commentary. We might see him come out. Who knows? And then you've got, Jackson obviously looking for Brixton, and who knows if Brixton will be there or not. So,
So I was like, I'm looking forward to this. We'll see what happens there.
Yep.
But and then now for the part of the show that everybody tends to tune out. Let's talk about other shows because we did get some announcements for. Got more announcements for HOT.
We did.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
It's like we got the announcements for people who are going to be in that 20-man match.
Yeah, not Tommy.
Yeah, no.
They're not letting Tommy play.
Hashtag let Tommy play. And then of course,
that means it's true, right?
I'm gonna plug I'm gonna plug Carl's show. I'm gonna pull the trigger. Hey, because he's already got a match announced.
He's got 2.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's like he should have a second match announced.
Oh, you haven't seen it yet?
No, I haven't.
Oh, you'll be excited.
I was busy getting ready for this.
It's one of your favorites.
It is?
Mm-hmm.
Sebastian?
No. I'm not allowed to run that joke in the ground anymore, remember?
But
let's try this. It's a Lucha Brutal favorite. He's on the poster.
Oh, sweet.
Well, I meant the poster on your wall, but...
Yeah.
No, I know. Oh, okay, you got it. Good.
Yeah. No, it's like when you said the poster and the Lucha Brutal favorite, I was like, oh, my first thought went straight to Prince Adam.
Yep, that's who it is.
Yep. Versus somebody that, is talking about needing second chances, Max Beckett.
And his second chance was, I felt, hindered because of the sound system.
Yeah.
It wasn't necessarily just him, because his match was good and his charisma was good. It's just for somebody who is supposed to be high volume and loud, the sound system did not help him because it seemed very low where you could barely hear his music. So
we've got that, and we've also got the tag team match
Yep.
of the Bible Club, the Prodigals. Can they pick a name?
Well, remember we had that problem when they were...
Eric Parable.
Yeah. Parents State of Parable. It was good.
It was, it really was. It taking on Thoracic Park.
Yep.
Yes.
The Cruz brothers.
Yeah, it's like I was going to say Express because thanks to another team.
I feel Carl kind of shot himself in the foot when he's like, I tried to get a better picture. Don't ever say that.
Don't apologize for that.
Because, don't even do that. It's like Google one or ask them. Don't just sit there and be like, oh, this is the only picture I had of. Don't ever do that.
Well, it was a good. I don't think it was a horrible picture. Yeah.
It's not. I really don't even know why he said it to begin with. I thought because that is their pose. That's what they do. I don't care if it's a couple years old. They still do it to this day, and they don't look that different.
I mean, it's like, and if you look at actually, he is on the poster. Yeah, see?
Oh, saying that's why I didn't remember.
But yeah, it's like seeing some of the other people on this poster.
Well, Prince Adam's there. That means someone else is there,
Yeah,
right?
and I was like, I know you're going to have to be there now.
We were already going to be there. Yeah, I saw it.
Well, you weren't sure because it was.
Well, I wasn't sure because it's at 2:00 on a Saturday in
Yeah.
Terrell.
Yeah, but I was like, I'm definitely going to go.
Yeah, we'll be there. We'll cover it probably.
Yeah,
I don't know if we'll
It'll
be able.
probably be-
I was gonna say I don't know if we'll be able to do an immediate after show,
it
but
might be do a Facebook Live kind of thing.
maybe.
Yeah,
So-
depends on when they get out and how long it'll take us to get to
Right.
MPX. But yeah, so looking forward to that show.
Yes.
Personally. And yeah, honestly, yeah. So I guess we'll go ahead and call it there for now because it's 9:00 now, which is our usual cutoff time. Unless Dave's here, then it goes on forever. So thanks for watching, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you get your tickets for Hard Day's Night, MetroplexWrestling.com, and get those tickets now.
Season passes for August are on sale, and August has Purple Rain, so it's probably going to sell
Get
out
it now,
quick.
get it now, get it now, get it now.
Always,
get it now.
always standing room only at Purple Rain, so get it.
Especially since this Purple Rain, the masks are off, as it were. Maybe not the greatest plan ever for people, but
I didn't think
Well,
we were
I'm-
allowed to announce it. You're supposed to. It was hush hush. Oh, that's right. Someone else already ruined it.
I was
Never
going to
mind.
say, it's like we aren't the ones who ruined that. That was already.
No, that's people who are trusting shouldn't be. Never mind. Stop bringing them up.
I didn't
Damn.
bring them up.
You did.
But make sure you catch Wrestle Rage on the network.mpxwrestling.com.
Oh, and since we were talking about other shows, New Texas Wrestling, Texas Grand Prix tickets went on sale today. I'm almost guaranteed it's going to sell out pretty quick.
Probably.
So if you do want to go to Houston and see some great wrestling, or if you're in Houston, look at those tickets for all three shows. It was $80, I believe, because you've got Texas Grand Prix night 1 and night 2, and you've got a women's Grand Prix on day 2 in the afternoon. So yeah, definitely get those. It's going to be a great show. I'll be there.
Yep.
So it'll be great.
So either way, Godspeed with you, ladies and gentlemen.
See y'all Saturday.
Mark out. She pressed the button. I was trying not to